What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rant, no hate. So, we've been covering this Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk situation. And so we know what's going on by now. Now, everything that I pretty much said was going to happen, it happened. And like I said, I was going off of what was in front of us. And so I felt like I had a strong feeling that this fight's not happening. I really couldn't see it. And this would be like the most pitiful job that you've ever seen for a build-up to not only a professional boxing match, but for undisputed. And they always say the heavyweight division is the king of boxing. Well, picture that. This would have been a huge letdown, right? So to me, it was only common sense. This fight's not going to happen. Now, just to recap a little bit before I go forward. Just a little bit. The reason Alexander Usyk pulled out of the fight, okay, it wasn't that he pulled out of the fight. That's the terminology being used. He pulled out of the fight. No, he walked away from the BS. Okay, it's like for every term that was thrown at him, he agreed to it. And then all of a sudden now we want to change this, you want to change that. And then it gets to the point where it was the basically the rematch clause became the issue for Fury. Well, I told you guys Fury was going to either fake an injury or just do something to get Usyk to the point where he's tired of his BS. And pretty much that's what happened. And I told you, Usyk has mandatories. A deadline has to be reached, first off, by both parties, where Usyk already did his part. Fury was the damn holdup. And the WBA was like, hey, come on, what's going on? And so Daniel Dubois has been making noise about fighting Usyk, and he's the mandatory for Usyk's WBA title. So that's pretty much probably the route that he's going to go down. Now, check this out. And I believe that's who he's going to fight because that is his mandatory. Now, Frank Warren had the nerve to open his mouth and say, oh, he's going to fight Wilder. That's who he's going to fight because he pulled out the fight. He pulled out of the fight against Tyson Fury so he can go fight Wilder. Okay, first off, well, I don't believe that's the case, but if that does happen, so be it, even though I don't think that that's right either. Not on Usyk's part. Your same bald-headed Gypsy King sat there and avoided Anthony Joshua, not once, but twice, to go and fight Wilder because the two of them were trying to freeze Anthony Joshua out. So what goes around comes around. That's all I really got to say about that. And you got the nerve to get mad or try to make it to be a point when clearly we know that that's what you and your guy did. Two, I don't think it's right because for Wilder to get a title shot, because let what he did run its course. He won his title eliminator against Robert Helenius. Andy Ruiz won his title eliminator against Luis Ortiz. And before that, Chris Arreola. And then all of a sudden, no fight between the two of them. No, Wilder needs to fight Ruiz. Simple. I don't think it's right for him to leapfrog over into that fight. And for all of the, yeah, but it makes more sense. Oh, shut up, please. Please, stop it. Stop it. That's a fight that we wouldn't mind seeing is Usyk versus Wilder. But at the same time, principles, man. See, people all about skipping over principles, leaving principles out. It doesn't matter anymore. Just do whatever. That's the problem. And see, that's part of the problem. A huge part of the problem. And, Frank Warren also had his phone trying to show an email saying that Usyk pulled out the fight. Duh. What is that supposed to prove? Usyk's people already said he's moving on from this because it's just too much. You know, he been to all these different demands, and it's like this guy just want to keep going and going and going to the point where it's like I said, he's treating him like he's some peasant or something, right? Here's the thing. For Tyson Fury and Warren, just like I said, they were both going to try to make this a Usyk fault. I tell you, Warren says one thing. He had nothing bad to say about Usyk and his people. He basically said it was because, you know, Fury had to convince him to take the rematch clause. And then all of a sudden, had to take the rematch and the clause in the rematch would be whatever. Then all of a sudden, he's going to try to work things out. So initially, Fury wanted 70-30 in the first and second fight. And it was Frank Warren that tried to get him to just maybe 50-50 is probably better. You understand what I'm saying? So now, both of them, the same way he did with AJ. Well, you know, there's no way this fight was going to be made that, you know, that fight of this magnitude, you know, it's too much going on. It's about the networks. It's nobody's fault. Tyson wants to fight. Joshua wants to fight. Then he flips around and flip it and turns around and flip it on them and make it like they're holding the fight up. And Eddie Hearn said he was on the phone like with George Warren often, right? Frank Warren's talking about, oh, there's been no communication. They're not talking to us. And now he did the same thing. He just sat here the other day on Talk Sports TV and was saying that the fight's not off. He's going to do everything in his power to make the fight happen. And he also sat there and said pretty much that, you know, Usyk wants to fight. Fury wants to fight. But it's just certain terms. And right, he said all of that to turn around and now try to blame Usyk. Didn't I tell you guys they were going to do that? And then Tyson Fury makes this little stupid video. You little shithouse. You little ugly, bug-eyed, nasty teeth little shithouse. You could never stand up to the Gypsy King, and you put out the fight and all this bullshit. But again, you avoided Anthony Joshua. And see, unlike you, this is the thing. Anthony Joshua, I can respect. I remember him saying, nah, I don't think me and Fury should be, not his first fight back. Get some rounds in, get back in shape. I want him at 100%. Fury wasn't going to take that fight with Joshua anyway. He's the reason the fight didn't happen. He thought he saw an easy win in Wilder. Wilder thought he saw an easy win in Fury. They both cherry-picked each other. Wilder's not that skilled. I beat this little motherfucker. Fury was 300 and something pounds. There's no way he's going to be in the type of shape he needed to be in to survive with me in his right hand. Okay, yeah, easy win. You know what's funny? Both fights, they were asked the same question. How was it, you know, how was negotiations like? It was, you know, oh, it's easy. When the best want to fight the best, it's easy. We made this deal in no time. Both times. Third time, not the same. You had to take him to court to get that third fight. Well, at the same time, right? It was either step aside money, or a big amount of step aside money, or we fight. And if you remember, Tyson Fury himself was like, I ain't paying him a dime. I ain't paying him one penny. If he's going to fight, he's going to earn it, right? But they talked about how it's so easy to make the fight when the best want to fight the best. So what happened to that same energy that Fury had with Wilder? Why all of a sudden now, every fight, he wants to penny pinch to try to drain everything where you get crumbs. And here you are walking around with all these belts but got no money. No real money. I believe Usyk's the kind of person, he probably donates, you know, £1 million to the people of, you know, the Ukraine. The same way because he only made that request because of Fury's BS trying to take so much of the money. Okay, I'll take that sacrifice, but you're going to help my people. And he never responded to that shit, right? Well, he did exactly what I said they were going to do. Right? And just think about it. It all happened. I said, I don't think there's going to be a fight. If anything, maybe postponed, but I don't see no fight happening in those 6 weeks. That I can't see. And a fight of this magnitude, the fact that it's such a rejection from Fury's side, it just doesn't look good. Is the fight happening? Okay. And I told you, they're going to try to flip it around. They're so predictable, man. They're going to flip it around, try to make it seem like Usyk is ducking. And Fury did that, and Frank Warren did that. He's a disgrace, man. So here's the way I see it. Fury needs to be stripped of the belt since he's not man enough to relinquish the title, because it's obvious he doesn't need boxing anymore. It's all about the money and just the money. I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon, whatever, the WWE can find something for you to do. You keep talking about you want to fight Francis Ngannou. Go fight Francis Ngannou then. But just give up the WBC belt so we can have undisputed. See, and that's the thing. I'm so glad Usyk put his foot down. Because, see, the promoters and people on the other people on the business side won't come out and just blast Fury. They don't want to damage the fight from ever happening. You never know, it might happen. So they won't say what they really want to say. But at the end of the day, see, Usyk don't want to be a celebrity. Usyk don't look at himself like some superstar. Usyk is a fighter. He's naturally just a fighter. And he wants to fight and he wants to win. He doesn't care about celebrity status. And he also doesn't care about it when it comes to Fury or any other opponent. It's like, look, do you want to fight or not? You know, so for him to have to go and travel around all these different countries to become undisputed, you know, for you know, as a cruiserweight. Now here as a heavyweight, here's a guy wanting to try to use his celebrity status. And Fury knows what he was doing. And so does Usyk. And Usyk said, nah, this guy treating me like I'm some hoe and he's a pimp. Nah, we're not going to do this no more. And basically he got tired of the games. And again, for Tyson Fury to sit here and say, you're a stupid man, you're not smart. You took that bullshit deal, right? Exactly. He's telling on himself. Yes, I gave you a deal that I did not expect you to take, but you stupid and you took it. And then he came up with another excuse now with the rematch. He did not want this fight. It's plain and simple. And for all the cowards that's trying to play neutral between the two and don't want to know, I'll say what you're scared to say. He did not want the goddamn fight. That's the only reason he played these stupid games. He did not want the fight with Anthony Joshua. That's the only reason he played those stupid games. He did not want the fight with Dillian White. He did the same thing, tried to squeeze it out of Dillian White, and Dillian White wasn't really saying anything to the public. He just was doing what he was doing, and he got his money. You remember that fight went into arbitration, and he got his money, got his $8 million. They was offering him $5 million. And, you know, Fury's just a greedy son of a bitch that don't care about his opponent's well-being. He just basically, everything is about him. So you don't need boxing anymore. You have way more money than you can spend, right? You're good. Go do your other stuff. Go start doing exhibitions now. Go do your other shit. Javon Sugar Hill was interviewed and said he had no knowledge of a Tyson Fury fight. That he wasn't. He was actually, you know, training the other guy, Lawrence Okoli. He wasn't even aware of anything, and he was never in a training camp for Usyk with Tyson Fury. This came out of Javon Sugar Hill's mouth. So who was training Tyson Fury? And Fury, I'm in the best shape of my life. I told you, the guy, he's been in the WWE, so he understands the whole let's talk shit and try to get people stirred up, because he think that that's what it takes to make a, you know, interest in a fight. If I'm talking about Francis Ngannou, I got MMA people, you know, putting eyes on me. If I'm talking about fighting these YouTubers, you know, I'll fight 10 of them in one night. All this stupid stuff he's talking about, I get those guys looking at me. If I'm talking about fighting, you know, somebody else's favorite fighter as a heavyweight boxer, I get those eyes on me. Everything that he does, he's trying to mind something where he's trying to create scenarios where things just work in his favor, even if he has no actual intentions on actually living up to what he says. And he's been talking his Francis Ngannou nonsense for the longest. Well, for Javon Sugar Hill to have no knowledge, and this came out of his mouth, he had no knowledge of a fight between Fury and Usyk. He was never in a training camp with Fury to fight Usyk. And plain and simple, you know, he wasn't even in the country. So he basically stood there and said something that neither one of them won't say. And that's why when I asked the simple question, who's training Tyson Fury, if not Javon Sugar Hill? And remember, that's when people started sitting there writing dates down. He's going to show up this date, and he's going to do this, and he's going to do that. I know. And where'd you get your information from? Because according to the horse himself, came out of the horse's mouth, there was never any training camp for Usyk. There was never anything to his knowledge. And did you hear them name another trainer? So who's going to train him? Joseph Parker? Guys, Fury's bad for boxing right now. Fury is basically, you know, I just like hearing it. I get sick of his voice, man. And seeing his shiny fucking pointed head sitting up here talking about, you know, his bipolar disorder and his anxiety, you know, like who the fuck's supposed to care about all that? Oliver McCall was a fucking nutcase, and they let this dude fight. Ike Abeabuchi was a fucking nutcase. They let this dude fight. Mike Tyson was a fucking nutcase. They let him fight. I mean, let's just, Ricardo Mayorga was a nutcase. They let him fight. I mean, we can just say it. And he keeps bringing this shit up like we're supposed to be sympathetic and always trying to play the whole, you know, my anxiety and my bipolar disorder and so what, man? Then go get some help. You can afford it. Because it's always when he do some asshole type shit, he want to bring up anxiety or bipolar disorder. But just on a regular, it's just like, for example, right? If you married and let's say your husband or your wife, they don't have bipolar disorder when they're at work, or anxiety when they're at work, or depression, or mental health issues at work, with the neighbors, with anybody else. It's just with you. You can't get along. And every time they do some asshole type shit and you check them on it, mental health issues, there's always some fucking excuse. Instead of just stop doing the dumb shit you're doing and everything will be just fine. So for Fury and Warren to always have something to say about somebody else and talk like they know everything about what everybody else is doing, but when it comes to you know, their own business, they do the same things that they speak against with other people. As I stated a couple of videos ago, he did the same thing with Eddie Hearn when basically he shot down Eddie Hearn for, I forgot who the fight was with. But basically Derek Chisora was fighting someone. I forgot who it was, but he shot him down saying, I can't believe that he would even promote this fight. This Derek Chisora is a shell of himself. He's not the same fighter. And then all of a sudden he sit there and make an excuse for Tyson Fury to fight him. And his excuse was Derek Chisora gave Usyk all kinds of problems in that fight. And so fighting Usyk is no different from fighting Derek Chisora. Well, then, if that's the case, how the fuck is he at the end of his rope on the shell of himself? Right? He was then, but not for some reason, but not when he fought Tyson Fury. Because you left out that he's a shell of himself part out. See, this is what they do. And Fury, like I said, I feel like he's made all this money. He's cocky. He's arrogant. And pretty much he doesn't care how anybody feels about what he does. Cool. So I just feel like I don't understand why people still want to even support this guy. He's a disgrace to boxing, man. I don't care what he accomplished. I don't care I don't care about any of that shit. You know, this is just me personally. Out of everything I've done in my life, fuck all the vainglory. I can't control how people see me, and I don't care to control how people see me. If I need to speak about something, then I will. If I'm to be remembered any kind of way, you know what I want people to remember if that would be the case? I want my wife to know I loved her with all my heart. I want my kids to know I love them with all my heart. My family, you know, that love me and I love them, that I did everything in my power to make sure I tried to do the right things with my family, for my family, you know, with my family and by my family. You know, my close friends, that's like family, same thing. That I basically, I cherish them and they are my prize in life. I don't give a fuck about what you think of me as a fighter, as a musician, as an artist. I don't care about none of that shit. That's all vain fucking glory. That's why it's like you have your time, you do what you do, you move on. It's somebody else coming in. A whole generation of other people. that life is behind you. So even if you're a part of it, you're still a part of it in a sense where you want to enjoy and see other people be able to, you know, contribute and live their dreams and, you know, have a good time in life and all that type of stuff. I don't care about that vainglory shit. We can sit up for fun and talk about who would have beat who we think. But I always tell you guys, I don't care about all this greatest of all time stuff. I don't care about any of that shit on a personal level. I really don't. I can care less about it. All it is, like I said, is vainglory. And it gives people platforms to sit and keep bringing up. I mean, they've been comparing Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson for decades now. Everybody who can jump and stick their tongue out and win a number 23 or 24, they want to compare him to Michael Jordan. Every time somebody come in hockey and do something, do big things, they want to compare him to Wayne Gretzky. Every time a martial artist comes out and have a good movie, they want to compare him to Bruce Lee. I mean, and it's always who was better, who would have won the fight, who would have beat this first, to the point where it becomes an argument. It becomes a thing of people trying to find fault and wrong in people and feel like they need to insult them to try to make somebody else look good. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. Y'all know in the community section, I'll put up little who would beat who would, you know, just for fun. I do that shit, man. I don't take it to heart. And you guys know. It's just basically in life, there's always something that could be done and should be done different that people use for their own greed. Like example, you care so much about a fighter's legacy and what he did for the sport. Well, you know what? Do a GoFundMe or something. Do a fundraiser and make sure his family's good. Show that you care. Not sitting up, yeah, you know, he was this, he was that, he was yada, yada. But their families are struggling because that fighter never became a superstar, never became or had the kind of money to really generational wealth. And no, look out for your fighters that way. Start doing something to help out that way. Hey, you know what? We're going to pay for your kids to go to college. They you know, whatever it may, start helping out. Start doing things like that. Not sitting up doing little interviews and running back little reruns of the fight and talking about how great this person was, because they contributed everything that they had and they had nothing to show for it at the end. And them fucking belts and trophies is not going to put food on the table. It's not going to solve anything. So, just saying. So, overall, all of this whole, I'm this, that, I'm the greatest fighter of all time, I'll never be beaten in the ring, all this type of shit, man, you know, well, hey, look at what you do. Look at the type of, you know, shit that's going on with the opponents that you have. You just started. I mean, here's a guy who fought Wilder 3 straight times. You were going to fight Manuel fucking Char. What was you going to pay him? And like I said, even with the 70-30 shit, how he had the nerve to say Tyson, that athlete Joshua looked terrible in his losses. And I'm being generous by saying 60-40. He really deserves 70-30. God damn. The man that beat him 2 times already, he beat Anthony Joshua. And you wanted to offer him less than what you offered Anthony Joshua. And you can look yourself in the mirror and not feel like a piece of shit? Obviously not. But to the paying consumer, right? That goes out, buy tickets, sit down, order pay-per-view. You guys give these fighters life. Because without you guys, they have nothing. And when they do that type of shit, I don't see how y'all can stand by guys like that. Now, I know he pissed a lot of people off. And the same people that's complaining about him, they're still going to buy his fights. They'll still, you understand? So it doesn't matter that you expressing, oh, I can't believe he did. No. Sometimes you got to pull yourself away and let a motherfucker have a pay-per-view and go, damn, what the hell happened? Nobody bought this shit. Yeah, because you were involved, you piece of shit. Step up and do what you say you're going to do. There's no consequence. They're going to continue to do these things. So I'll tell you guys, you know, like I said before, you know, Usyk has been a stand-up guy. I've never known him to back down from any fighter. And pretty much, he won undisputed. But at the same time, Tyson Fury is playing games. He's playing games. Now, if you look at who else out there is available as a top contender. So if he doesn't fight Usyk, which he's not going to fight him in April 29th. So if he's not going to fight Usyk, well, when does he plan to get back in the ring again and against who? Is he going to fight Manuel Char this time? How like he tried to do before? Is it going to be Manuel Char now? After he just fought Derek Chisora, so he can still get his wish and get another big payday fighting a guy who doesn't even belong in a boxing ring, period. Think about that. Who's he going to fight? While he keep trying to make it seem like Usyk need him and he don't need Usyk, if you have common sense, you know that that's BS. So who out there is he going to fight? Is he going to fight Joe Joyce? We know he's not going to fight Parker. It's me, brother. Yeah, right. Not going to fight Joseph Parker. Maybe they'll, try to fight. Is he going to fight F.A. Jabba or something? Huh? Who's he going to, is he going to fight Luis Ortiz? He's going to try to find a lesser opponent. And he's going to call it a stay busy fight. That's pretty much the way I see it. He'll probably try to fight a lesser opponent and call it a stay busy fight. Frank Warren, that's Joe Joyce's. Joe Joyce is his guy. Do you hear any negotiations about the two of them fighting? And isn't Fury the one who said, if I don't get the little ugly man, how about me and you, Joyce? Come on, Joyce. Remember that? Was that not Tyson Fury? Are you not entertained? No, son of a bitch, no. Do you hear any talks about Joe Joyce? Just think about it, y'all. Everything that these people do is like with glass walls and a glass ceiling. They hide the truth. They blame other people. But if you're observing and you see enough to know what's going on, that's what you should go by. Not using your imagination and trying to tell yourself it's something different from what you actually see. Tyson Fury should be ashamed of himself. And I'm not shocked at nothing that he did. I'm not shocked at nothing that Frank Warren did. And from the fight not happening because of some bullshit coming from Team Fury, check. Frank Warren going from saying it's not Usyk's fault. It's not nothing that the team is doing. It's just negotiating and, these things happen in the fight. And because he don't want to directly say Fury acting like an asshole. Right? He's going to go from that to blaming Usyk. Check. Just like he did with AJ and Hearn. Tyson Fury is going to pull the Usyk duck me and act like he's so disappointed that the fight's not happening. Check. They all happen. They all happen. So when you look at the options that he has as viable opponents out there, who do you think Tyson Fury wants to fight? You think he really wants a tough fight? So he said if he can't get the little ugly man, well, you're not getting the little ugly man. So go fight Joyce. But see, his minions will be perfectly okay if he wanted to fight Derek Chisora a fourth time. If he wanted to try to fight Manuel Char, they'd be okay with that. They would be perfectly okay with that. Again, he need to let go of the WBC title and go and do whatever he wants to do so he's no longer holding up undisputed. And as long as people are sitting there cheering and going to, order his fights and support what he's doing, he's going to continue to do it. But I say salute to Alexander Usyk because, Usyk wants to fight. And now if he did fight Wilder, okay, yeah, well, Wilder's considered one of the elite guys, but I just don't like this leapfrog thing. Wilder didn't earn the shot with Usyk. That's my whole thing. He didn't earn a shot with Usyk. And Wilder, the same dude talking about he wanted to fight 3-4 times a year. He wanted to fight Anthony Joshua in Africa. But notice that whenever something didn't go down with Anthony Joshua, as far as the fight with Fury not happening and, now him needing another opponent, well, why was Wilder so quiet? And he admitted, okay, and Shelly Finkel admitted that Eddie Hearn reached out to them and offered them deals to make the fight. So what happened? You want to fight him so bad, but when he doesn't have an opponent, nothing out of Wilder. So Wilder beats Robert Helenius, and then all of a sudden he deserves a shot. Now, see, you can respect Usyk for the simple fact of like, yo, okay, he's going after the top guys. But for me, like I said, it's just that Wilder didn't earn the shot, man. He got his ass beat, you know, by Fury 3 times, and then all of a sudden he wins against Robert Helenius, and for him to just find himself in a title shot, I just think that's bogus, man. You know, that's my thing on it. Fight your mandatory, Usyk. If it's Daniel Dubois, go beat Daniel Dubois. If it's Joe Joyce for a different title, I think Joe Joyce might have been a mandatory for one of his other titles, I'm not sure, but fight your mandatory. Simple. Wilder, go fight Andy Ruiz like you're supposed to, or you fight Joe Joyce, because all of you guys were in title eliminators. And Joe Joyce's title eliminator was against Joseph Parker. So it would make no sense for you to go fight the loser of the fight, okay? So if you're not going to fight Andy Ruiz, you should be trying to fight Joe Joyce. And why is Frank Warren not trying to make that fight? Why is Frank Warren not trying to get his guy Joe Joyce out there? You see, this is what I'm saying. The way, you know, boxing just, man, boxing. It's like just as different as night and day, man, that you look and it's like, what happened to boxing, man? And you wonder why people are watching UFC and other sports. You wonder why people are just not clamming the boxing the way they used to. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story to let you understand how screwed up boxing is. I was in the gym the other day. There was about 12 guys and in the locker room. And they was talking, this is what they were saying. Yeah, because, like, see, yo, Jake Paul really won, yo. They robbed that nigga. Yo, you know why they robbed him? Because he fought, that's that guy's brother, the bald-headed guy, the wrestling guy. Fury. Yeah. Because he, like, Fury, like, Mike Tyson's cousin or something. Because they named him after him. Is Tyson his dad or something like that? And I'm just like, wow. Like, and then they go, yeah, because that's why. Because it's his brother, and his brother's supposed to be famous. I don't really know too much about him. The first time I seen Fury was when he fought Braun Strowman. And, you know, but look, because, like, that's what I'm saying. Yo, like, I don't think, like, I think Jake Paul should fight Canelo. I was thinking like that because, you know what? Like, Jake Paul, look, he really beat Fury, but Fury, that's why the little, I think he's the brother or it's his son. That's like, wait, Tyson Fury. Yeah, so Tommy Fury's Tyson Fury's son. And he fought Jake Paul. And so, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they robbed Jake Paul. And so Canelo lost his last fight, so they obviously don't know that he fought Triple G after he lost to Bivol. They probably didn't even see the Bivol fight. They probably just heard that he lost. And then they said Jake Paul would beat Canelo because, like, he's better than Canelo, yo. Canelo good, but, like, Canelo overrated. And, yo, like, Jake Paul, yo, he hit hard, yo. That nigga hit hard. Like, I think he'll beat him. Like, you know what? Because that's who should fight for the heavyweight champion. Like, what's the guy got the belt? Anthony Joshua got the belt, right? Yeah, he the champ. So, like, Jake should fight him. Because they don't really have him in there's too many heavyweights now. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? And Jake Paul already showed that he could beat any of them guys. And you didn't hear not one person correct anything. See, this is the new age boxing fan. They think Tommy Fury is Tyson Fury's son. And they thought Tyson Fury was Mike Tyson's cousin, brother, or son. And they think Jake Paul can beat Canelo. They thought Anthony Joshua was still the champ. They know Tommy Fury, but don't know too much about Tyson Fury. See? Casuals. They're Jake Paul fans. This is what boxing has become. I told you guys several videos ago, people don't know the difference between the skill level. They don't understand. To them, Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, Canelo, all of them, Wilder, they're all the same. Jake can hold his own against, he's better than all those guys. He showed it. So Tommy Fury's a good fighter, but you don't even know who Tyson Fury is. And you only know Tommy Fury because he fought your boy, Jake Paul. The state of boxing is a mess. And this is what I've been telling you guys from day one. Until somebody try to clean things up and make the sport respectable, anytime when it just comes strictly about this, things fall apart. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate to other people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.